So in physiology, there's a component centered around respiration. And this basically has to do with the movement of oxygen from the outside of me into me and how I'm utilizing that oxygen. That process is also, what's involved in that is the exhalation or the transport of carbon dioxide out. And this is something that we feel is the kind of missing component to what we've been looking at inside of physiology and respiration in large part. What we're not, when we do talk about these things, there's a big difference between when we talk about the biochemical definition of it, which is cellular respiration, and what's happening as we create energy within inside the cells, because the byproduct of that would be carbon dioxide and water and energy. And the carbon dioxide does come out through that process, and oxygen comes in order for us to create energy, right? So they're actually involved with each other, but they're two very distinct things that are going on. And it is very important, as we are finding out, that how we're actually utilizing oxygen in our physiology is actually a byproduct of how well we're actually utilizing carbon dioxide. And so the thing that we've been looking at for years is getting air in and what we're doing and how well we're using the oxygen, but yet there's this thing that we haven't really been paying attention to very well, which is the carbon dioxide. And so when we hear things like VO2 max, we talk about VO2 max all the time, especially in exercise science, that should actually largely be accompanied by something called VCO2 max, right? Or VCO2, which is our carbon dioxide offload, and what's happening with that. Because that's actually telling me what's happening with what I'm taking in and what I'm putting out. And so this process of exchange starts to happen. And if I have large differentiations between these two things, I may be seeing a very inadequate or inefficient process that's occurring. And this is where we're really focusing our work, is trying to understand that on a deeper layer. So largely when we talk about respiration physiology and we're talking about breathing physiology, we're talking about the exchange of oxygen as I draw in air and the exchange of CO2 as I get rid of air.